Here in the Hall of Justice in downtown Los Angeles, the trial of Charles Manson, Susan Atkins, Patricia Krenwinkel and Leslie Van Houten is in its 12th week. The trial has barely progressed beyond the first few prosecution witnesses, and there are some 80 more to be heard before the defense presents its case. The cost so far has been estimated at $250,000, and there's still a long way to go. Never, surely, have a more bizarre collection of attorneys and defendants come together in one courtroom. And never have the proceedings been on such public display for the attention of the world's press. The judge has ordered a gag rule, but just about everybody, it appears, can't stop talking. Ronald Hughes, representing Leslie Van Houten, is the most colourful member of the defence team. A former manager of an unsuccessful pop group, he experimented with LSD, underwent psychiatric treatment, and at his 4th attempt passed the bar exam. He lives in a crumbling garage with holes in the roof, a few mattresses strewn about the floor, and his framed law degrees. The phone is disconnected because he hasn't paid the bill. He originally owned only one suit, but has bought a new wardrobe for the trial from the props department at MGM Studios. Mr. Hughes, what's been your legal experience up until this trial?
This is really my first case.
You've taken drugs yourself, and you've been very much involved in that scene with the pop scene and so on. Do you think you understand the defendants better than any of the other defense attorneys?
Yes, I do. I feel that Mr. Canary, for instance, doesn't understand what this ball game's all about. He thinks we're playing soccer when indeed we're playing football. Exactly.
Are you satisfied with your own performance in court to date?
Yes, I am. I'm quite pleased with it.
The judge has been rather hard on you particularly, has he not?
Well, I think that the judge was a colonel in the Air Force, and I think the judge is terribly displeased to see me with a beard and with, my hair is getting fairly long. I think he sees me as perhaps a revolutionary figure in the law. I'm not sure. But he has been hard on me, and he's expressed displeasure with me privately in chambers.
Do you think the defense team in general is proving itself to be a match for the prosecution?
I think we're winning.
When the prosecution discovered that Irving Kinerick was going to represent Charles Manson, they threw their hands up in horror and said publicly, "He's incompetent and an obstructionist, and we'll be trying this case for the rest of our lives."
Some defendants under our system deliberately go out and find the worst lawyer they can, so that if they're acquitted, they can, or rather if they're convicted, they can then appeal on the basis that I was not properly represented.
On that point, your office tried to have one of the lawyers, Mr. Kinerick, removed from this case. Why was that?
We know that if Mr. Manson is convicted, we know. I think the odds are 1,000 to 1. If he's convicted, he'll get a new lawyer. The new lawyer will come into court and say, number one, Mr. Manson didn't want a lawyer. Judge, you forced him to get a lawyer. Number two, the lawyer he got was not qualified. He wouldn't cooperate with Manson. Manson stands up in court every now and then and yells instructions to his lawyer, and his lawyer doesn't follow them. And number three, they're going to say he isn't qualified anyway. So for those reasons, you've got to reverse the case. Well, we know that's going to happen.
And Mr. Manson made his opinions about this fairly clear at the time, I remember. He said he wanted to defend himself. And rumor has it that he said to the judge that if he couldn't defend himself, he was going to find himself the worst lawyer he possibly could and bring this trial to a standstill. Do you have any comment on that?
Yes. What Mr. Manson said was that he wanted the worst lawyer from the prosecution standpoint. In other words, he wanted a lawyer that the prosecution would fear the most. And that is the reason that he chose me. That is what he said.
Paul Fitzgerald, at 33, is the youngest member of the defense team and its unofficial leader. He represents Patricia Krenwinkel. He's anti-establishment and has been adopted by the members of the Manson family who are not in jail. He frequently visits the Spawn movie ranch, where the family still lives, and where the girls have embroidered his jackets as they did Manson's, to help ward off the evil spirits. He quit his £10,000 a year job as a public defender in order to be able to continue with the case. He's the only one of the four who has a reputation as a capable attorney and frequently clashes with his fellow defenders in court.
All these lawyers have been certified by the bar as competent in many respects. Now, in terms of their trial experience, many of them are not experienced. And that is frustrating. It's frustrating indeed, particularly when I feel that I have the right stratagem or the right tactic and I'm pursuing it, and it's undone by one of the other defense attorneys. Not necessarily the prosecution, but one of the other defense attorneys. It's very frustrating. It's thwarting.
What is it about the Manson case that attracts you so much?
Well, there is something about the Manson case. I think it's the individuals involved in the Manson case. I think that my particular client, Patricia Krenwinkel, is one of the most decent, sincere, open, and if you'll accept the term, loving people I've ever met. And I think that's true of the other defendants in the case. It's true of Susan Atkins, it's true of Leslie Van Houten, and it's true of Charles Manson himself. I've always found Manson to be a very charming, energetic, lovable man.
An outsider sitting in on the Manson trial can hardly help coming to the conclusion that only in America would some of the men involved be practicing law. This is Southwestern Law School, one of several in California, where one may study 3 nights a week for 4 years and emerge as a doctor of jurisprudence. It's only necessary to show that you've studied law diligently and in good faith for 4 years to take the bar exam, which you may resit twice a year for the rest of your life if necessary. 100 lawyers graduate from this school every year, and several of its graduates are involved in the Manson case.
I think that the people in this country hold lawyers and courts and judges in relatively low esteem. I think our profession has less respect and admiration so far as the general public is concerned than in any time since I passed the bar many years ago. Manson, on the record, you'll recall, said he wanted to represent himself. The judge says, no, you have to have a lawyer. He says, all right, assign me Justice Douglas of the Supreme Court of the United States. Can you imagine anything like that happening in England? People have to wonder about whether or not any of us have any common sense over here.